0, 1. Let's get started.
Why they stopping me?
Bye, Crypto Bro.
What's going on, crypto peeps? It's that guy again, Ball Deep Crypto. Gonna come at you with a little Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, posts talking about, some of my favorites. Stellar XLM. We're gonna get into a little bit of Stronghold. Gonna end it on a video with smoke, or at least I'm gonna show you what it is. Kind of goes over an overview. I don't know if I'm gonna play it in this video, but let's get into it. We're going to read a piece here from Stellar Africa, talking about the weekly roundup, what Stellar's been doing and their ecosystem, from protocol upgrades to real-world adoption. Here's what it was for the week of Stellar. It was a big week. Obviously, you've got Upbit Global, one of the largest global exchanges, that temporarily had to pause XLM trading so it could upgrade to the new Protocol 23, which we've spoken about. We, me being we, the royal we. On September 3rd, obviously, Stellar activated Protocol 23 in Whisk on its mainnet. The upgrades include parallel smart contract execution, memory-first state management, and simplified developer workflows. And this marks a major leap in scalability across the network and for developers, obviously with the 5,000 TPS. Also in this past week, the U.S. Department of Commerce continued its groundbreaking work with Stellar, placing its quarterly GDP data on-chain. This milestone signals a significant shift towards transparent, verifiable, and tamper-proof public recording. Now, Stellar was one of the blockchains that they chose for that. Big news for Stellar. Shout out to them. They also have their ongoing integration with Near Protocol is also progressing. This collaboration is unlocking cross-chain swaps, expanding DeFi use cases, which obviously with Soraban and the Whisk update, DeFi is something that they're really pushing right now. It's connecting Stellar with more than 20 other blockchains. Big news. More interactions, more cross-bordering, more cross-chaining, more fluid, more DeFi, more volume. Real-world adoption continues to grow. Stellar now supports over 522 million in tokenized real estate assets on the network, highlighting the strength of its infrastructure for tokenization. Obviously, we know it was 275 or 270 TVL. It's up to 522 million, and their goal is to be at 3 billion. So it continues to grow. Shout out to them. Like I said, ETH trash. Coming for that ass. Clap them cheeks. All right. Also, they obviously their partnerships with major players such as Circle, USD, PayPal USD, Franklin Templeton, with FTI Global tokenized mutual funds, demonstrate how Stellar is positioning itself as a core link between traditional finance and decentralized finance. So big shout out to Stellar. That's a big week, big week. A lot of things on the horizon. Now let's look at Scopely, which is the Stellar wallet we're saying. Obviously, like I've been hollering to the rooftops, XLM has become the go-to network for real-world assets. It has climbed into the top 5 layer 1 blockchains by TVL with over 533, which we just talked about. We know what they're doing with Franklin Templeton, Benji, and Wisdom Tree. Dominate the action together with 500 million on Stellar. So some of these big mutual funds, industrial giants, Wisdom Tree and Franklin Templeton have said Stellar is the chain that we like. Now, institutions obviously trust Stellar for tokenizing regulated assets. Nearly 1,000 unique Benji holders on Stellar versus single digits on their rivals. Franklin Templeton went multi-chain, but the majority of the adoption has stayed with Stellar, showing that Stellar is still the big dog on the porch, like my other video said. Now, Stellar's TVL crushes its competitors. Arbitrum is 60 million and others lagged far behind. Like I said, Stellar's seen this opportunity. It's going at it hardcore. I'm loving what they're doing. I'm loving Whisk. I'm loving the upgrade, Protocol 23. With its powerful infrastructure, deep financial ties, and expanding adoption, Stellar is emerging as the cornerstone network for bridging TradeFi and blockchain. The future of tokenization is here, and it belongs. It's being built on XLM. I believe that too. Shout out to you, Scopely, for that. Now let's go over here and see what else Stellar's talking about. we have got a little post here in the Financial Times today. Congrats on trade on 21X. Now, what is 21X? It says the first domino has fallen. If we come down here, it looks like you can see Stellar right there highlighted. XDC, shout out to the XFin. You know, we talked about them in previous videos. Obviously, I think they're a major player across the way. Obviously, everybody knows Chainlink, kind of connects everything. Franklin Templeton, which we already know is working with Stellar, tokenizing their assets. We just talked about it, and Solana's on here. So here we go with this. Now, what 21X is, it's a Frankfurt-based fintech company. It operates as Europe's first fully regulated DLT, exchange and settlement system for tokenized financial instruments. So they are tokenizing assets. Very nice. Real-world assets such as stocks, bonds, funds, and real-world assets, real estate, and art on a public permissionless blockchain. Key features include smart contract-based matching, Sorabon, there we go, that's where Stellar fits in, and settlement to eliminate counterparty risk, 24/7 trading availability, never shuts off, be institutional-grade compliance and integration of stablecoins like USDC, which we know is locked in and part of the Stellar ecosystem. So, you know, give you an idea of what it is. You know, it's obviously Germany based, so Germany's got a booming fintech sector which is projected to grow from approximately 14.57 billion in 2025 to 29.25 billion by 2030, a 14.96 CAGR. So as you can see, there's significant growth, there's significant, you know, their digital asset market alone is forecasted to reach USD 1.9 million in 2025, a 21% of all the EU total. So they're doing 21% of the EU's total digital asset market forecast, you know, so there we go. So it looks like it could be something big. Three of their biggest partners are Apex Group for capital market and custody services, ABN AMRO for capital markets and industrial access, and Circle, like we've talked about, for USDC stablecoin settlement and enable atomic transactions. So they project that obviously this could surge, you know, with partnerships and regulatory positioning suggesting potential for rapid scaling. The overall fintech payment segment could go to $100 billion globally in 2025 to $520 billion by 2030. So shout out to that. Financial Times recognizes it. Big for 21X, big for Stellar, big for USDC, Franklin Templeton. Here we go. Shout out to Stellar. Now that we're going to go over to Danelle Dixon, who obviously is with Stellar, and she's talking about how the update with the NASDAQ has filed for the SEC to tokenize stocks, letting investors trade equities either traditionally, sorry people, it's 5:10 in the morning for me, or on-chain with full shareholder rights. She states this would be a huge step in the right direction. At Wisdom Tree Prime, which we know obviously Wisdom Tree, Franklin Templeton, we just talked about it, leverages the Stellar network to list digital funds that track the stock market. We've been ready for this development. We being her, the royal her, Stellar, XLM. Let's go. Now, Double Agent XLM, no clue who this dude is. Shout out to him. This guy's always got the dirt, but if you're not following him, you should be. This guy is putting out plethora of information daily, so, you know, shout out to you, Stellar dude, whoever the heck you are. You know, the dude abides. NASCAR is using NASCAR. Yeah. Jimmy Johnson, baby. All right, sorry. He says, warning, invest in Stellar now. Not financial advice. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. We'll go over that real quick. Invest. It's your money. Do what you want to do with it. This is just information. You should always do your own research. Invest what you want to invest. Do what you want to do with it. Nobody's here to tell you what to do with your money. I'm just telling you what your boy's doing with it. Ball deep. Okay, back to it. NASDAQ is using DTCC, which we know about, which does $2.3 quadrillion a year of settlements, which they've run on the R3 Corda. Obviously, they're going to utilize Stellar, as I'm going to talk about here. to settle and clear all trades in token form. So that's what they're setting up to do. Now the SEC permits, now also, you know, the DTCC runs all the derivatives, which are from the stock markets around the way, in case you didn't know that either, but that's neither here nor there, but that is huge. Derivatives is monstrous. Now the SEC permits ERC 3643 tokens to fast track to market under SEC innovation exemption. The DTCC is coming to Stellar's Meridian, and Stellar uses ERC 3643. Wada bang. Wada bang, bam. XLM is gonna boom soon. My man's right. I believe you, Double. I believe you. Not financial advice, people. Now, also, you know, I did another video on X Money and how it's plans to be stellar. You know, I got a whole 11 views on it. Shout out to you, 11. Appreciate you. Anyways, he's kind of talking about what I was talking about in that video as well. So basically, you know, like not that I'm the first one to say it, you know, I regurgitate information like anybody else. But shout out to him. He's like, I will repeat this again and again until you all get it. I believe him on this. X, Twitter, will have blockchain options for payments. Hello, wants to be an all-in-one shop. Now, Stellar XLM will be one of them. XLM uses LightSpark, who developed Spark for BTC transfers. Spark uses Privy. Here is the Privy response to Stellar and Twitter X. Right here, built by Privy. He comes over here and he asks the assistant for a question. Please confirm the steps to create and connect a Stellar wallet on the Twitter platform via Privy. And what does it say? Yes, you can create and connect a Stellar wallet on the Twitter through a bot built with Privy. And here are the steps. People, this man right here did the work for you. I'm just giving it to you in verbal form via YouTube. Shout out to you, Double, on that deep dive. Appreciate the work. The guy down here, or maybe a girl, says, Lolita, you really are a double agent. Facts. Facts. No cap on that. All right, now let's go over to Stronghold Japan, which we just talked about. You know what I mean? Bow to your SAXA. And an announcement that Stronghold, which obviously the price is up a little bit if you're a holder. Shout out to you. Probably liking that little bit of 7% increase today from yesterday into today. We're delighted to announce an institutional partnership with @Uphold Inc., a global digital asset platform trusted by over 10 million users worldwide, managing over 9 billion in assets, and with a transaction history exceeding 53 billion. So there we go. Now, you're thinking, all right, cool, I'm going to be able to go over to Uphold and buy it, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? Maybe some of you out there who follow me are. But me, I am not an HNWI. And shout out to Strong SAH. I think he shot out the question to Sean Bennett. I think it was him. Maybe it was Venom. SHX, either way, both, you know, suggested follows. But basically what it means is, he says, you smell that? What is that? What exactly is Sean getting at here? Uphold offers services for big clients, institutional and HNWIs. HNWI stands for a high net worth individual. If you're a high net worth individual out there watching this, shout out to you. I'm not. So basically the institutions, which in my opinion, SHX doesn't go out there and pump their stuff. I think I've talked about some other videos. They don't care about you and me. Not that we're insignificant to them, but their role, what their goal is, institutions. They are an institutional coin. They're trying to work with the businesses. Like I said, they did the test pilot as a stable coin for IBM. Tammy Camp is a prodigy. She, onboarded 4 million people at Stellar. She's done over, $4 billion worth of business. She built the APIs for Walmart. Yeah, do they like retail? Yes, but that's not their goal. Their goal is exactly what this is, high net worth and institutional. They want the institutions. Their coin is built for the institutions. We're lucky enough to get it if you have it. If you don't, I like to buy mine off of Uphold, transfer it into my Lobster wallet, and then I like to swap out my XLM for SHX, along with Velo, along with AFR, along with Agua. So if you don't know how to do that, I have a video in my library that shows you how to swap it out for AFR, I believe it is. You can do the same thing for SHX. Just make sure it's SHX Stronghold, and whatever you switch it to, whether it be any one of those coins, make sure it's curated by Lobster. I'll repeat, curated by Lobster. Very important. Shout out to you. And yeah, Sean X, obviously Sean Bennett verified it. Retail access, not available yet. Not on Uphold, but I just told you how to get it. So if you want some of that, go get it, people. Make that money. Now here we go. Shout out to Smoke here. It's just a quick little video. I think I'm going to end it on here. It's about 5 minutes. I know it's kind of long, but it kind of gives you an overview. They talk a lot of that Bitcoin, boohoo, bouillon. Nah, not for me. But I get it. It's worth a lot of money and people love it. But I'm not here pumping that or showing that. I can ignore that, and I can see what the kind of the facts he's talking about here. So I'll play a little bit of it, and then if you want to watch the rest of it, go to Smoke.
GDP, which is today at 84 trillion, is projected to double over the next 20 years, all thanks to technological innovation. We need to recognize the speed of change, the acceleration of advancement as an unprecedented pace because of the exponentiality of computer technology. With that as a background, I want to shift to specifically the exponential tech of blockchain technology and crypto. The Bank of England says this is going to transform the global financial system. 76% of TradFi is developing blockchain technology right now. Global spending in 2021 was $6 billion. Last year it was $19 billion. Gartner says that the global blockchain market, which is right now $176 billion, by the end of the decade will be $3 trillion. PwC says it's going to add nearly $2 trillion to GDP by the end of the decade. The technology lets businesses operate faster, cheaper, safer, with greater transparency and inclusion. JP Morgan says it's going to save banks $120 billion a year in processing costs. We have to recognize that all of this is all about the evolution of the internet. The original internet that was developed in the 1990s, we now refer to it as Internet 1.0, was all about connecting people. Right? You used email and texting, later Facebook and Twitter, where we used the internet to connect with each other. Then we had Internet 2.0, the Internet of Things, where your phone is talking to your car. We now are embarking today on Internet 3.0, the Internet of Money. We are now moving money at the speed of the internet, which is an unprecedented phenomenon. And since the world runs around based on money, this is going to be massive. We're already using the internet as a payment platform for the movement of money, everything from credit and debit cards to all of the different services that most of these you are already using. The best illustration of this are cross-border transmittals. This is a nearly $200 trillion marketplace of moving money from one country to another, either person to person or business to business. And of that $195 trillion, about 3% of it, look at the bottom of the chart, is used by crypto. So of all the money that's being moved, most of it is going through the Fed, and most of it's going through SWIFT. It's going through bank wires, Western Union, but 3% of it is being done with Bitcoin or stablecoin or some other digital asset. It's projected that by the end of the decade, it is going to grow to $300 trillion, and crypto's share will be 20%. A 7x increase. 12% of global trade is cross-border transmittals. Think about migrant workers. They come here from South America, Central America, Africa, the Far East, for economic opportunity. Mama is still home in the old country. So what does the worker do? They send some of their paycheck back home to mom. Migrant workers send $1.2 trillion to over 800 million people every year. 60% of the average family's income comes from those cross-border transmittals. This is 3 times more than families receive from international aid. This is a huge number. Look at the amount of money that countries are receiving from cross-border transmittals. Over $100 billion goes into India. $60 billion flows into Mexico. Even China gets $50 billion. Some of these very small countries get a huge percentage of their annual GDP from money being sent into it from expats who have moved to other countries and are sending money back home. Crypto share is going to rise 7x by the end of the decade. Why? Because of unstable local currencies. If you live in Zimbabwe or Venezuela and you can't trust the value of the currency because of massive inflation where prices are doubling monthly, or a government that is corrupt and nationalizes banks, literally steals the money out of your bank account, you don't want to put money in a bank. The cost of transmittal, if you want to send money from New York to London, it typically takes 5 days and costs 6%. The cost is exorbitant. And people are becoming increasingly aware that there's an alternative. They can use crypto, which is faster, safer, and cheaper than doing it the old way. Just look at sending a wire cross-border. 5 days, 6% using the SWIFT system, which only operates during banking hours. With Solana, you can send that money in less than 1 second for a tiny fraction of a penny, and you can do this 24/7, no bank required. You don't even need a smartphone, an ordinary cell phone. There's 1 billion people in the world who are unbanked according to the United Nations. They don't live anywhere near a bank, or they don't have enough money to afford being able to open a bank account because of either the minimum deposit required or the fees the banks charge. We're even talking about 7% of US households who are underbanked or unbanked. Payments technology of crypto allows this to occur faster, easier, safer, can't be manipulated by governments, extremely divisible, because the dollar only goes to 2 decimal points. With Bitcoin, it goes down to 9 decimal points. This is why there's 500 million people around the world who are in crypto. We've got to change our thinking. Everybody keeps looking at Bitcoin saying, what do we need this for? Why do I need digital assets? Our banking system works fine. We all love to hate banks, but let's face it, it works just fine. Yeah, that's true here in the US, but it isn't true in the rest of the world. That's why the rest of the world is really interested in this technology. And for all of that, people are only a small, tiny piece of those remittances. It's governments and corporations that are sending most of the money. If you have heard of Kinesics, you know who Kinesics is operated by? JP Morgan. This is JP Morgan's private blockchain. They've got their own private blockchain. They've had it for 4 years. They do $2 billion in cross-border transmittals for their institutional clients per day. They've transmitted over $1.5 trillion so far on their own private blockchain. We've got over $5 billion tokenized of treasuries through public blockchains. That's a 10x increase in just 1 year. BlackRock and Franklin Templeton. Money market fund that is an app. It's not an account through your brokerage account. Higher yield, lower fees, instant 24/7 transaction. We already have 65 million Americans who own this. 28% of US adults own Bitcoin. PayPal lets everybody on its platform buy and sell goods using crypto. Walmart's got Bitcoin ATMs in all of its stores.
Alright, so it looks like it stopped right there. Kind of froze up on me, so I'm not going to run through it no more. Now, what I did take out of that, besides the Solana, not a fan, and all the Bitcoin yapping yipping, there was 560 million people worldwide that are in crypto. That is only 6.83% of the world's population. Less than 7% of the world is in crypto like you are. You are that early. Congratulations. On that note, it's 5:20 in the morning. I got to go work tomorrow for my $20 an hour. Shout out to my job and my coworkers if you're listening. Love you guys and girls. Respectfully, of course. And I appreciate any and everybody that's here, all 80-something of you. Appreciate it, even if nobody watches it. I still appreciate the few that do, and hopefully you get something out of it. Like I always say, chase a check, never chase a bit.
Bye, crypto bro.